Good evening and welcome to the Junior Footy and Netball Show. That's right, we are back for another week, all thanks to McDonald's and PowerCore. And don't we love both those sponsors? They are absolutely sensational. Great to have them on board. Great to have these kids on board as well. I shouldn't call them kids because they're nearly adults. And they do a wonderful job and they're getting better and better each week. It's a credit to them, that is for sure. As I say, very good evening to Matty Sell. How are you, Sally?
Good, thanks. Good to be back. Another week on the board, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And how'd you go last week, Sally? No crowds, of course. You guys played Cobden out at the pond in heavy enough conditions.
Yeah, the ground was torn up and it's very torn up now, to least to say, which is good. But it was really good just to get a win on the board and get back on the winners list as well. I think we're 3 and 4 now, so hopefully going into Port Fairy we can go into 4 and 4.
One of the very few under 18.5 footballers that rocks the moustache too is Matty Sell, of course. Great man, doing a great job too, and well done. And thank you for joining us tonight. Little Ruby Couch has been kind enough to join us again. Rubes, how are you, mate? How did you fare last weekend with the no crowds?
It wasn't too bad. It was a bit weird, I guess. Yeah, just playing, but yeah, it was a good game.
Now, you're allowed, like mum or dad, were allowed to come in, is that right? Because you're under 18?
Yeah, so I think every player could have one parent come in and watch.
Yeah, that's good. So at least you had a little bit of atmosphere there, that is for sure. We've got a big show to get through, including a couple of special guests. Looking forward to talking to these guests today too, because there are a couple of stars on the rise, that is for sure. But before we do that, let's have a look. And we're going to start off with the netball first, Rubes. The 17 and under netball, of course, Camperdown took on the Hamilton Kangaroos 43-30 the Kangaroos' way. Ruby Canady, who is going to be our special guest, we need to give her a pump up because she's been in great nick, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's a great shooter. She works really well with another goal attack, Mary Place. And yeah, those girls are just phenomenal. I can't say it.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal at what they do. Yeah, it's really good.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Next game, Koroyd and Port Fairy. Koroyd comfortable winners over the Seagulls. And young Gleeson scoring 25 again. I think that's Greta Gleeson. She's in good form herself, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really good. She goes really well in the footy as well. I know she just started that up this year.
Sensational, I love it. Now listen, we've got to get to your game here, but before we get to your game, it was a draw, okay, 42 apiece in the netball. Rubes isn't the best players, he's a little star, make no mistake, little goal attack, plays good netball. You made the fatal mistake of sharing a little bit of footage with me and Matty before the show today, and well, we've got that footage. This is from Saturday's contest. Just have a look at this. As there's Rubes, you can just see Rubes' a little goal attack there in the South Warrnambool colours. So just watch as she comes through here and whack. That is wow. That looks like it would have hurt.
Yeah, it did.
You got a bit of bark off the hands. And
yeah.
That's what happened, mate? Just caught up in feet there.
Look, I'm not really too sure, but yeah, I think just got tripped over.
It's a tough sport, the old netball Sally, isn't it? She's unforgiving. At least if you fall over the football field, you're falling over the grass. Yeah. It happens a fair bit though, doesn't it, netball? It's a rugged old sport, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Now let's keep looking at these games, okay? Warrnambool and Cobden. The Cobden Bombers had a really comfortable win with Wallace scoring and Boucher being named best on court. So in good form, the Cobden girls are. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, definitely.
And the final game, the Portland Tigers and the North Warrnambool Eagles. 41 to the Eagles, 26 for the Portland Tigers. And good to see young Scriven, who comes from a good sporting family, playing some good netball there for the Eagles as well, Rubes.
Yeah, she's a really good defender. I've played on her a few times over the past few years. And yeah, she's definitely a hard one to play on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was last week's round. It was round 9 action. This week we're going to be going into round 8, okay, must be said. So it's a little bit confusing for some, but we're going back to round 8 this week. We have got a very special guest who's been kind enough to join us via the Zoom link tonight, and we say a very good evening to Ruby Canady. How you going, Rubes?
Hello, I'm good, thanks.
We appreciate you taking the time out. Just give us a little bit of a background on yourself, mate. Where your netball career started. You've been camping all your life, and I suppose a little bit of your family history, because that Canady name is, of course, synonymous with the Camperdown Football Netball Club.
Yeah, Mum and Dad played for Camperdown when I was younger, and then Maggie and Sophie Canady were my cousins, play with me, and Peter Canady is also at the club, so I've got a fair few and cousins. And then I've played at Camperdown for 6 years, I think.
Who is your coach this year for the under-17s?
Ruby Pekin Schlick is our coach, and it's really good she's coaching us this year because she's a very high elite netballer.
How are you travelling this year on the ladder? Like, are you winning good games and like up on the top end of the ladder?
We haven't won a game yet this year. However, we're hoping we might get the win this week.
Yeah, I know you girls are improving each week, and it's definitely going to be a hard game again each week, especially against us. Oh, that came out wrong. But
We know what you meant.
Yeah. I know you play goal shooter, but is that your favourite position on the court?
Yeah, well, I play shooter and keeper, and honestly, my favourite position just depends on the situation.
And do you find yourself, Rubes, like are you swapping around from quarter to quarter? Are they kind of putting up goals one quarter, then the next quarter they're kind of chucking you down defence, or are you playing most of the game in a set position?
Yeah, it actually can depend. Sometimes I get thrown each quarter, but most of the time I have the full game in one of each.
Yeah, and what about the netball program up at Camperdown? I look at the Tracy Bakers of the netball club who are still heavily involved. She's just a ripper, isn't she? And a great role model and someone to look up to.
Yeah, Tracy's great. She's been playing for a fair while now, but she has so much knowledge, so it's great to have her.
Now, what about yourself last weekend? No crowds, of course. It was our Hammond League Life match of the day. It was eerie up there at the Lura Oval, wasn't it? There was only the bare minimum of people that were allowed in. Lacked a bit of atmosphere, but all in all, it was a pretty good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit weird without any spectators. However, we're just happy to play, so whatever works.
Now, what about role models and stuff? Have you got someone that you look up to, like on the netball court? There's so many wonderful players coming through, and competitions are just getting stronger and stronger each year, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say one of my role models and mentors is Rachel Mungine. She's coached me a lot over the junior years. And then Ruby Pekin Schlick is coaching me this year, and she's also a great role model.
Gee whiz, it's the Ruby show tonight, isn't it? And what about little Ruby Couch? You would have come up against her a little bit over the journey. She's a great little player, isn't she?
Yeah, Ruby's great. I think we played the grand final a few years ago together. And yeah, she's great all across the court.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, Rose, we certainly appreciate your time tonight. And you've got the Portland Tigers coming up this weekend. They're always pretty strong in the netball. What are your expectations come Saturday?
Well, we're hoping this week we might win. I don't think Portland's got a win yet either. So it'll be a tough game for sure.
Good on you, mate. Well, listen, we certainly appreciate your time tonight. Fantastic to talk to you and looking forward to following your netball career through, shooting plenty of goals and getting the best each week. You're certainly in great form, that is for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Little Ruby Canady there. She's a beauty. It's the Rube show tonight, Rube. What about the old when you play us? She's always... I think it's put her back too. She's not a big gunshot now. Don't worry about it, mate. Just keep fighting on. I do it each and every week, that is for sure. Let's have a look at the football from last week now, Matty. And the Koroit Saints, big winners in the end. 74-point winners over the Port Fairy Seagulls. And young Curran O'Donnell was the star for the Saints. You know much about Curran?
No, I'm actually not too sure about him, but they seem a very dominant side, the under-18s for Koroit this year. They look like they're up towards the top end of the ladder, which is good for them. I know previously they've usually struggled with numbers using permit players, and it's really good seeing them up progressing in the ladder, yeah. Absolutely.
Andrew Foster doing a great job out there. Benny Wunton, of course, his assistant. Got some really good coaches and that, which is just fantastic to see for the Saints. Hamilton Kangaroos, they're one of the teams to beat. They are playing sensational football. Got some great young kids. Big winners over the Camden Magpies, who were decimated last week because the Melbourne players couldn't come down and play. They played a few of the young kids. They've only got about 15, I think, numbers in that under-18 outfit, so it's a great effort for them to just be taking the field each week. Starkey kicked 6 for the Kangaroos. He's in pretty good nick.
Yeah, Starkeys. I think there's two of them. There's one's a few years older than myself, and he's playing senior football. But the Starkey name in Hamilton, it's always a good name, and they're always pretty good footballers. Yeah.
Yeah, the South Warrnambool Roosters big winners over Turan Mortlake as well. And the usual suspects, Modgy Acoch, what a ripper he is, Henry Rhodes, Flynn Wilkinson, just to name a few in there. They're going to be pretty hard to beat when the whips are cracking.
Oh yeah, especially when they got a full side. They're all real close mates, and they can just gel together so well. So hopefully, push comes to shove at the end of the season, a few teams are able to get through them and get them off the top end of the board, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be pretty happy with the way the Roosters are going, Rubes.
Yeah, definitely.
They're going pretty good at the moment, that is for sure. The Warrnambool Blues, your mob, Matty, good winners over Cobden. Is that 2 in a row?
Yeah,
for
two
you
in a
boys?
row. 2 in a row. It's good to be on the winners list, which is always a positive, yep.
Yeah, fantastic. How'd you go, mate?
Struggled a bit.
Nice
as
little
always.
solid game down back, mate. They tell me you're just the Rocket Gibraltar back there.
Oh, I was trying to get a kick, that's all I'm doing.
Oh, they tell me you go all right. Don't worry about that, mate. Hey, in the final game, Portland taking on the North Warrnambool Eagles. And, well, the Portland Tigers, they were pretty comfortable in the end. That was a pretty good win because, yeah, the Eagles are always strong enough and the juniors are always hard to beat. So that's a good victory.
Yeah, I think with the Rebels going back, North losing a few in the under-18s, either playing seniors or Rebels, which is good for them because they've got a lot of good young people. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cade Lovell, there's a name to follow over there at Portland. They've got plenty of young kids coming through with plenty of ability. And talking about ability, this young kid from the Cobden Bombers has been kind enough to join us, Lewis Darcy. And he's played 4 senior games so far in 2021, which is a fantastic effort. And the rest in the under-18s. Lewis, good evening and welcome. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, yourself.
Mate, fantastic. Just give us a little bit of a background on yourself, your footballing family. I reckon the Darcy name is a pretty famous name down there. And the one that springs to mind back in my day was Marty Darcy. He was an absolute ripper, and I reckon he might be an uncle.
Yeah, he's a cousin of mine. A lot of Darcy's played at Cobden. I've played all my footy at Cobden as well. Mum played netball at Cobden as well, and Colac 300 or so games. So, yeah.
How have you found yourself adapting to senior footy with the level of pace, and how's it all going for you?
Yeah, no, it's been a good experience. A lot quicker than the under-18s and just bigger bodies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Would you say you prefer playing the senior footy over the 18s, or do you enjoy playing with more of your mates from school?
Good question, Rubes.
Yeah, I enjoy playing with my mates that's from school, but just the experience of playing senior footy, it's really good.
And mate, your mum Ben, your mum Elise and your dad Ben, great sporting people in their own right. A couple of really good role models, no doubt, have been a big support throughout your journey.
Yeah, they have been. Mum especially, it's been good.
Now, there's a few Cobden boys getting into me on Saturday about how I'm on this, and Mickey Coronis, he wanted a big shout out, so I thought you'd be happy to give his name in the loophole.
Yeah, I heard him saying about that. Yeah, big fella.
He was getting into him, wasn't he? This is what I like to hear. This is good. It's great. Hey, what about young Mouncey won our, I think, is it Nick Mouncey? Have I got that right? Won our little tool of the week, our Southwest tool of the week last week.
Noah Mounsey.
Noah Mounsey, yes. And Zachy Green and the boys, they took a bit of a detour coming home from Portland. There's some good youngsters coming through out there at Cobden. You've had a bit of success over the last 4 or 5 years coming through the junior footy.
Yeah, we have won a couple of under-18 premierships. So yeah, we've got a lot of good young players in the seniors, and yeah, hopefully we can become a good strong team for a few years.
How are you going in the 18s? Where are you placed on the ladder at the moment?
We're 7th at the moment. Bit of a disappointing loss on the weekend, but yeah, hopefully bounce back soon.
And obviously a big game coming up then against South Warrnambool this weekend. They're up and about a bit, the Roosters at the moment, aren't they, Louis?
Yeah, they're a good side. I think they're the benchmark probably for the under-18s. So yeah, hopefully have a good competitive game with them.
Mate, I spoke to Irish Courtney last night and today in regards to you, just to get a little bit of information, but he tells me that you're very dedicated, love your training, mate, you're a pleasure to coach, and he says you've got a really bright future. He's a ripper Irish, isn't he? He's a great coach, great senior coach.
Yeah, he's been really good and good helping us younger kids as well. Been a few of us under 18 boys play in the seniors, so it's been good.
How did you go on the weekend? I know at the pond there was a few that were able to actually watch. There was a few that have broken the rules, but that's all right. How'd you go adapting to no crowd and the short transition to interplaying with like no change rooms and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was definitely a bit different, different feeling, but it wasn't too bad and good to get a good win.
She would have been a long road trip back to Cobden, mate, in the footy gear on Saturday. You would have been hanging for that chair, I'm tipping.
Yeah, it was a long one. But it was,
good. Well, what about the goals? What are your goals, mate? What do you want to get out of this year, next year, moving forward?
I want to keep trying to play senior footy. Not really too sure. What else?
Good on you, mate. Well, listen, a great young man. Both our guests today, fantastic young citizens. That is for sure. Lewis, we wish you all the best of luck this weekend. It's a big game coming up against South Warrnambool, mate, and we certainly appreciate your time on the Junior Footy and Netball Show tonight, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
No.
Well, Ripper, a couple of great guests here too. You're just pulling them off like you wouldn't believe at the moment, which is magnificent. Credit to you. Now, I have to ask you, Rubes, before you go, what about the footy on the weekend? How did you go? You come a draw in the netball, mate. What about the other girls' footy?
Oh, look, it started off pretty tough. I think, we just tried to go into each quarter, set the score back to 0-0 and just go in there at our hardest.
Yeah. And final result? Did you get the win?
35-0 in the end. Bit
Well
of
done.
low scoring, but it was a good game.
So undefeated so far this year, the Roosters?
Yeah.
And what about Coach Tank Mead, mate? Is he's excited and looking forward to the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And how do you find the balancing act, with the netball and the football? So you're training nearly every night for either netball or football. How's that working?
Yeah, it is a bit tight. I train for footy Wednesdays and Fridays and then netball Thursdays.
Unreal.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment, isn't
Yeah,
it,
it
Sally?
is.
It's the old Tuesday, Thursday for you, mate. You doing any extra nights?
No, not really. No, just the Tuesday, Thursday for me.
Mate, you meant to say, I do Monday nights I go for a 6K run or something like that. Hey, listen, guys, it's been absolutely sensational as always. And I mean it, you're doing a wonderful job. You're getting much stick. You obviously caught a bit of stick on the footy field.
Yeah, no, it's just a bit of banter, a bit of friendly banter.
What about you, Rubes? You copping any stick?
Oh, no, not too much.
You might after that little spill that we got the video on. That was sensational. Hey, we must thank McDonald's. We must thank Power Call. They are absolutely sensational. Did you go to Macca's last Wednesday night, Rubes, on the way home?
No, I didn't actually.
What about tonight? Your chance?
Nah, probably not.
Jeez, you are getting serious.
Got to get on that footy grind.
Sally, you'll be there for sure.
Yeah, most likely.
Love it. And of course, SunGold FM flavoured milk. Look at those balls. They look absolutely sensational, the logo balls. Fresher fruit juice. Chinnix pies, of course. We all love our pies. And they got the brand new round pie, which is coming out shortly as well, which is fantastic. Lindoc Living, great sponsors of the league as well. And it's just great to have all those sponsors involved. And we just can't thank them enough, that is for sure. Good luck this weekend, of course, to Roosters. You guys are taking on the Cobden Bombers, your old stomping ground, Rube. So expect a little bit of stick when you get down there, mate. So we wish you all the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. It'll be a really tough game, but looking forward to it.
Absolutely. They're going good in the under-17 netball, the Cobden girls. And, Sally, you've got to go over to the Gardens Oval Port Fairy, mate. Always a tough old road trip, but I reckon you're a good chance for 3 on the trot.
Yeah, hopefully we can get the 3rd on the trot, which will be good for the club and good for our team as a collective going forward. Yeah, hopefully we can win.
Fantastic. Well, Matty, great to have you. Rubes, great to have you. We'll be back at the same time next Wednesday night for the Junior Footy and Netball Show. All thanks to McDonald's and